I'm live again. Right. So now I have different lighting. It's winter time, and yes, this is my bedroom. My little bedroom is my little studio, and I don't have a lot of space. So a lot of things that I had last year are gone. God's gonna owe me a shitload of money. Uh, yeah, shitload. Well, I'm suing for damages, is what I'm doing. Mhm. And by the way, Canada, I need to sue my own country. So, just knock. Hi, I'm a Jets fan, and I'd be happy to be a trader and help you guys get the Stanley Cup back on Canadian soil. I'd even expatriate, to be honest with you. No, not kidding. So I am trying to repeat some of the things that I said earlier because, yeah, well, if I was looking at continuity, I'd already be screwed. Lighting and different clothing. But some of it was kind of choppy, and there's not much I could do about it until I get an internet connection that is closer to me, wireless router. And this is not, this is a crappy laptop compared to what I used to have. Well, I don't have family, and nobody decided to jump in and help me, and you should have. You should have. Right, mine are all dead. Okay, no, and I'm not in good health. So, those of you who annoy me online, I'm just gonna start ignoring you completely. Now, some of you I know are hockey people. Okay, that's okay. Okay, if it's like hockey talk, I'm okay with that. On my X account, my legacy Twitter, I'm the only Creasesinger on X, legacy Twitter. Okay, and so there'll be a lot less music talk because it's hockey season. Now, I grew up in the United States, 20 minutes from where Cal Ripken grew up. And yet still, I turned out to be an NHL ice hockey fan. All right. Well, that hasn't changed any. I don't have certain things going on, so I'm not one of those kind of hockey fans. I'm the real McCoy. I love ice hockey. I'm an ice hockey nerd. Of all the subjects on earth, yeah, I know ice hockey best, particularly the National Hockey League. But sometimes I look around and see what else is going on, learning all the other right stuff slowly but surely. Uh, so yeah, that's me. My name is Dr. Mia Lueth, and it is October 19th, 2025. It is 12:39 p.m. That's afternoon Eastern Time, New York, USA. And I'm a Winnipeg Jets fan. Okay, it's gonna stay that way. I'm eating because I don't care if I slop food on me while I'm online. Uh, it's a good thing I am. I've been having a little trouble with that recently. I have something called gastroparesis. Okay, let me write this down. Gastroparesis. I think it's cis. Let me see what this. Let me see if what the. Oh, there's an A in there. Yeah. Okay. Apparently, you spell it two different ways depending on yeah how you're feeling. I guess. I'm an ice hockey fan, but you have to understand I'm also a natural born goalie, so we do things that other people don't understand. Stitch, random Stitch. Look, no, it's a quacker, a baby quacker. He's dressed up like Stitch. I know. Goalie's a weird nod and everything else. Oh well. All right. Um, because of my health, I can't really do anything athletic, and I gotta lie down, sit down a lot. It sucks. Can't work 40 hours a week. If it were ice hockey, if I had a job in ice hockey, there'd be some things I'd be willing to put my body through. Yeah, I would. I don't know if I would actually hit 40 hours a week, but there'd be some things I'd be willing to do. Otherwise, no, I'm under the care of like many doctors. Like I have 10 different specialists. Right. Um, Gastroparesis is basically a stomach emptying situation. Okay. Some of your intestinal system becomes paralyzed and food can sit in your stomach for a long time. And you don't go poop. And it can become highly uncomfortable, but once you do, because I have to actually drink Miralax every day in order to get that stuff to leave me. But unfortunately, what that does is just grab everything. So some nutrients and other things I don't end up getting. And I, like I feel sometimes I eat 3 bites, I feel full. Sometimes I can eat an entire meal and still feel like I'm extraordinarily hungry. I also get reverse acid up my throat, tastes sour. So, some things have gotten bad enough that there is a chance I have a hiatal hernia. But I've been going back and forth to doctors for years. Okay. Now, some of the things, yeah, I came out, I'm still saying I just say remission. Okay. Because there's other things that, could go wrong. I got a thyroid nodule. There's some things I have a polyps in my stomach. I did have a polyp removed the last time I had a colonoscopy, which adults, you really should at a certain age. Okay, just suck it up and do it. I mean, they're either gonna put you under twilight or just general anesthesia. You're not gonna feel it, and yes, well, they call it a polyp, which could eventually lead to the big stupid C word, which I don't like talking about it anymore. So I'm in remission. I just say I'm in remission because there's certain things I have to check yearly. I have so many doctor's appointments, it's insane. Okay, great. But I have something that is a Parkinsonism. Parkinsonism. Okay, and what that means is I'm going to put neuro, functional neurological disorder now. It doesn't mean it's all in my head or any of that. Functional neurological disorder. Okay, so very similar types of symptoms to Parkinson's. That's the Parkinson's that if you've ever heard about about Parkinson's, probably the one you've heard of. However, I have fibromyalgia. It's a pain condition. Gastroparesis. Left side tremors, mostly left. Um, I get Bell's palsy. I get all sorts of things. I don't know. I showed a list before, but I needed to get offline. So no, I can't work 40 hours. And some days are better than others when it comes to certain things. I have to spend more time trapped inside. I can't drive a vehicle anymore because some of my symptoms can be problematic, and I can tell sometimes when I'm going to start really having an issue, but I don't want to take that risk. Have a sleep doctor, have a respirologist, have an orthopedic surgeon. Uh, I have a gastroenterologist. I have a general person. I have done physical therapy. I did for like 3 years straight. Um, I lose my balance, so I get vertigo. So sometimes I fall and bang into things. So I'm injured a lot, which it, like I just lose track of that crap. I don't know. Pretty sure I bumped into something yesterday. That's what that bruise came in. And yes, I have a stain on my shirt. That seems to be normal, right? I know stuff starts wiggling. I'm like, so they look a little bit like seizures, except I'm awake and I'm conscious. Um, Periodic movement disorder, which affects my sleep very badly. And there are certain medications I could take for it, but I can't take those medications because of neurological functional neurological disorder, and those things could actually either cause it or exacerbate it. In my case, things exacerbated. So there's medication I could take for gastroparesis too, but again, you gotta go figuring out if it's going to cause me issue um, with something else. So, my symptoms have been going on long enough that, yeah, I seem twitchy or restless or something, and that's not really the case. Like my muscles, I'll get what everyone for a while thought was just cataplexy, where your muscles it's like your muscles fall asleep real quick. They're like your muscles think you're in sleep mode, so they relax. And then I drop stuff, and sometimes it happens when my legs are full. I know it's great being me. It's fantastic. So I have a lot of medical appointments. I have a lot of considerations. Just trying to get up and get out the door. And showering and all this other stuff. I have challenges that a lot of other people don't. So I am grateful for ice hockey because during ice hockey season, then I have something to look forward to. Like, it's a little easier for me to handle a day when I know, okay, well, it may not be game day today, but it's game day tomorrow. Just gotta make it to tomorrow. See what I'm saying? I mean, I don't have FOMO, fear of missing out on hockey, but it's close. It's close. Um, I do put my updates up here, and I'm tired of whoever the hell it is been DMing me. I don't care. I don't care if you're a real celebrity or not. Some of them really don't seem like that's who they are. Okay, uh, and I don't feel like being somebody's secret. I don't feel like that. I don't want to do that. I'm not gonna. So Some people might be like, "Oh, just calling your wife because I knew I want to marry you," and I'm like, "Well, when's that gonna happen?" Well, I'm in this lifetime right now. Okay, so if some of you are scammers, I hope you get caught. I really do. You don't really have an excuse. Not a good one. Uh, that's just how that is. Over time, I've kind of like started working on music again, and that's to keep my mind off the fact that I got all these horrible symptoms. And it may not seem like that to anybody, but trust me when I tell you, I've had some seriously close to death kind of days. Which is why I'm putting in paperwork for a do not resuscitate. That's my decision. Respect it. Or leave me the fuck alone. Yeah, I want to get it tattooed on my arm too. It may not be legal. I've heard that it may not be legal, but maybe somebody will just have mercy on this if it comes to that. Just like, we will, couldn't bring her back. People online pretending to be my husband or whatever the fuck they're doing. I don't know. I don't care. Okay, I don't care. I'm an ice hockey fan. Okay, that's just true. I'm a student of the game, of the sport. There's 82 games. Okay, but ice hockey in the United States is a sport. Pro level sport. And it has been for a really long time. Okay? Game has grown, which is good. Yeah, I know. I get vibing when it comes to the Arizona, well, it used to be Phoenix Coyotes and then Arizona, whatever. When it comes to that franchise, I really was rooting for and vibing for and trying to get people ways back to try and invest in that club and do what they can because it's better than it is. I mean, but at a certain point, I just was like vibing. I'm like, just move the team, just move the team, just move the team. Sometimes it's better to move it before you lose it. Well, whatever. Okay, so Utah Hockey Club is right there, the Mammoths now. Basically, it is an expansion team, but they got all the hockey people minus the name and everything still. So, I mean, it is not an extension of the Jets, but a lot of people went there. Um, I saw they have a new mascot, Tusky. Tusks up. That's cute. I like that. I also love the hockey. I love it. The Kraken. Yeah, that's a great name. That's a great name. But I'm a Jets fan. And um, considering they've had some injuries and uh, considering the way things have been looking, I mean, it's a good sign to some of these things. It's only what four games in, five, right? Five games. Or four, five. I don't know. Yeah, it's only a few games in. Um, so it's really kind of hard to tell, but there's a lot of good potential in sort of the win now as in the Stanley Cup chase. Okay. For some hockey teams, they're not really in that. Okay. Now let me tell you, they might surprise you. They might start surprising some people somehow. And right, start aiming toward it. And at some point, like, I guess we are. Yeah, I guess we are. But most of the time, really young teams, or right teams, brand new teams, which is why the Golden Knights were a big surprise. Okay, but they also had great veterans that they could pull from other clubs. But really young teams, it's just some teams just aren't in a certain season like set up for, we are cup chasing in October. Okay, I'm sure there's people who still are doing it, but realistically speaking, long time hockey people know what I'm saying. You know, it's they may not be doing we're in the win now situation in October. Okay, some teams are. So really start building your playoff team in October. That's what you do. Right? Some teams aren't doing that because it's just not realistic. There are a lot of things that I've noticed about ice hockey fans and people who write about it and talk about it, who have been around. Um, there still seems to be this contingent of people who really are not understanding. If you're a team, the Winnipeg Jets, every time they go out on ice to play an NHL game, yeah, they're playing another team. Sometimes you don't know how they prepared to play you. Sometimes you don't know if some players are playing injured or not. Right. You know, it's important to understand that it's never going to be your entire captain carrying a team. That's bullshit. Okay, there are a lot of people, they're like, oh, I'm like, no, wrong. Old boys club, sit down. Some of you done some harm and you know you have. Okay, I'm talking to the grown men and women's club in the ice hockey, National Hockey League ice hockey first. Right. Everybody else sit down. I wasn't talking to you. Okay? Bloggers, people, I mean, I really don't want to talk about a certain franchise anymore, but one of the many reasons why I just walked away from that place is because bloggers and the jury owner at the time and other people and some of the press, but a lot of the fans I was around, like, okay, you're putting all this weight on your goalie, and that's not fucking where it belongs. Or you're putting all this weight on Alexander Ovechkin, and that's not where it fucking belongs. And you guys are approaching it like the other team just simply isn't there and don't factor at all. It's all Ovi's fault. It's all the GM's fault. Trade this guy, move this guy, boo hoo, wah wah wah. A lot of it. And unfortunately, I've met Ted Leonsis. You can look that name up. TED. Okay. I read his book. I met him. I was a fan, lover of that franchise before he even got there. So I've met Ted Leonsis, Washington Capitals right owner, personally. And there were times when I did email him private, but I would also put comments on his blog. Okay? He would talk about Washington, D.C.'s hockey IQ. Well, when I walked away, that IQ dropped a bit. And some of it wasn't hockey smart, looking at the NHL big picture. It really wasn't. And there were bloggers who just kept losing faith and kept, and there were, newer fans, and they expected nothing but exciting hockey. Like, if Alexander Ovechkin wasn't scoring from behind his back with one eye closed with a broken arm, then it's just not fun anymore. That's what you all train them to do and think. Like, fire wagon hockey is the only kind of ice hockey. Well, it's losing ice hockey is what it is. And those fans had very little tolerance year by year. Okay, because they had not been through the 30-year wait that some of the rest of us. Okay, there's a couple few thousand fans of that club who learn to be patient, even when somebody is saying win now. I mean, it does happen all over the NHL with certain clubs a little more than others, but certain, like ESPN, other places to discuss ice hockey, everybody needs to get out of the mentality in order to save yourself some, uh, aneurysms and myocardial infarction and other kinds of like stressful shit. Every team plays against another team, and I don't care how bad off another team is, there's still a factor in every single game. Every single NHL game. All 82 of them, every single franchise. The other team is always a factor. Okay, there's a goalie there, there's players and teams that get in the way. Even a team that's having just like a crappy game is still a factor. This one-sided crap, like, oh, my team sucks. Well, there might be a team that's freaking, like I've said before, eating their shreddies and Wheaties, and they had time to repair, and they had like scouts and other people, watching ahead to check out to see, what your team's been doing and so on, and so forth. You understand? And you never know. I mean, even the last place team has the capability of beating even the first place team. And that is the way it is now in the National Hockey League. Right now, in today's 2005 2006 season, that is the way it is. It is not any other way. Sometimes fighting is not the right thing to do. All right. Um, there have been changes in the NHL, a lot of them, since some people, still stick in the 90s ice hockey, or 2000, right? It's 2025. But I pretty much had to tell Leon's just private email, I'm out, man, because I'm tired of being snapped at and attacked by fans of the team that I grew up loving for 30 something years. I'm tired of the impatience of the fans, of the bloggers, of the press. You guys yourselves train them to be like that with your exciting fire wagon hockey. No one. Okay, yeah, skater moose. When I say skater moose, I'm talking about Gretzky's friend, right? Skater moose, not goalie moose. Yeah. Okay. Right. A lot of the reason why Gretzky was successful because he had really good protectors and he had good passers. No, he did right. I get a significant number of assists too. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, that's good. I mean, whether you get an assist or whether you get a goal, I mean, it matters. To me, they're pretty equal. All right, because the end result is your team just got a goal, got on the board with another goal. I think it's unrealistic of anyone to even think that fighting should be banned in the National Hockey League. Okay, please go away and understand realistically what the hell you are saying. That's not gonna happen. The National Hockey League is the National Hockey League. Okay, if you are completely against any type of fighting, then you need to go hang with a different league. That is just not the proper expectation at all. Okay, right? These are excited people feeling emotions. They got all those chemicals running through them. There's, adrenaline. There's all kind endorphins. They get fired up. And sometimes they lose their shit, and that's why they gain misconducts and get thrown out sometimes. And sometimes it doesn't matter what you do. There's two guys on ice. Eventually, you might as well just let them fight. Okay, in a controlled location. I mean, it's better than them going out and having fisticuffs in the freaking parking garage now, isn't it? I totally disagree with the mentality that there should be absolutely no fighting in the National Hockey League. I mean, you might as well just ask them to cut their penises off and wear diapers. It's unacceptable. Fighting can be reduced in some ways, like fight. And maybe some guys was just like, I don't even feel like messing with you today. Just skate away, like you don't even get my time and attention today. Fuck you. Right. And some of them do it because there's another teammate down or wait, sometimes they do it for each other. There is no way. That is so absolutely improper, wrong thinking. I've never agreed with that sentiment. Never. And I never will. They're going to fight anyway. Some of them, they're just going to fight anyway. Right. They agitate each other. They annoy each other. Some of them get tired. Some of them, right, like tired of them constantly targeting one guy. They're going to fight. Absolutely not at all proper for anyone, anywhere, to actually be thinking in your head that all the fighting needs to disappear from the National Hockey League. Okay, well, then it's not the National Hockey League anymore now, is it? Okay? There is fighting in the National Hockey League. These guys are going to fight sometimes. The end. If you don't like it, go find a different league where they don't really fight. Okay? I mean, I agree that sometimes, yes, well, I mean, that's another reason for fight straps. Fewer beat downs on the head. And they used to run around without lids on. I mean, what did you think was going to happen? You guys beating each other about the head and neck all the time. Without lids. Falling down, cracking your head on the ice. What did any of you think was going to happen? Speaking of Parkinson's, that could also be, yes, too many head injuries might also lead to a Parkinsonism or Parkinson's, right? Well, I can tell you, it's not fun at all. My life sucks. Worse than the 74 Caps. I'm not just going to smile. Some people giving me advice about stupid shit. I'm like, excuse me, I didn't even ask you. Get away from me. It's not funny that I'm an ice hockey fan. Okay, I'm not a novelty. I am a student of the game. And I have been since I was 8 years old. That has not changed. I understand intangibles. I understand that there are sometimes coaches, they don't have a choice what their lines look like because somebody, this one scratched and this one blah, 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 and this one's playing injured, so this one can't be on that line. General managers, sometimes, how are they going to know until maybe a year later? Okay, you can't always, somebody's performance with one franchise may not be the same because maybe they're asked to do something different, play a different role in a different kind of system. And they're just doing what they're asked to do, but what they were asked to do in another franchise is different. So you can't use the same metrics. That's why I'm saying your metrics, shove them up your ass. They're useless. I know that there are some general managers and coaches and some other people who played in the National Hockey League who now have jobs with the franchise or the National Hockey League agree with me. Goalie stats, I don't pay much attention to. Because, one, they can be deceptive depending on certain things, like their team's lack of defensive responsibility, which kept happening to Ole Kolzig time and time and time and time again. There are other goalies in the National Hockey League who also have been in that situation. If there's anything I've learned from French Canadians, listening to French Canadians, watching French, defensive responsibility. It's not asking anybody to be a defenseman. It's not even asking everybody to be a two-way player. Some just are naturally two-way. I mean, you got two-way defensemen and you got two-way wingers and centermen. Okay, so they just are, But it's always important to understand the more effort you put in to get the puck, the better. To get and keep the puck. Because then the other team's chasing the other wing. Yeah, you see what I'm saying? Plus, you never know. I mean, somebody might see it get to the other team's blue line and just sees a freaking hole and just shoots from there. Right. Okay. But you're taking their chances away from them when you get the puck. And see, scoring one goal is great. Okay? If you continue to keep them from getting, what do you guys, some call them A and B shots. B shots, crap shots. I call them crap shots. Good shots are crap shots. Right. They have less of a chance of scoring. Okay. Now, see, when they score a goal in order to win a game in the National Hockey League, that means your team has to. Defensive responsibility in the National Hockey League matters. And you can be a top goal scorer and you can be a sniper. And I got to be honest, like someone put that puck through something this size. Yeah, goalies cannot cover the entire net. I know some people thought about put fat goalies in there and I know. Okay, that's why they're on a team. There is actually a lot of space there. And considering some of the snipers only need like this much. Right. Okay? Think about it. Every time you score a goal, every time your team, like I'll just say, every time the Jets score a goal, it means whoever they're playing against has to score 2 to win. So you don't want to be that team that's constantly, right, having it make up 2. I mean, for a long stretch, I know why. For a long stretch, why New Jersey Devils were making it to the playoffs. Well, that is some French Canadian influence, no doubt. Defensive responsibility. It really is that simple. So, like I said, it comes to the Winnipeg Jets. Okay, me, I don't care if they gotta like play keep away. I don't care if it takes them, 2.5 minutes to play keep away and then try and maneuver and then just like, yep, somebody just fields it and bam, it goes in. The longer your team has the puck, the better. Even if you can't set up the score. I mean, yeah, sometimes you might just like, forget, I'm just going to take a shot because it might. Right. I may not, like some of the natural goal scorers, they may not even really see a lane. They know ahead well enough, like, well, you might make it in, but it also might bounce off him or him and still go in. So sometimes they'll just, yeah, take a shot and somehow that sucker goes in or bounces off somebody. Right. Sometimes, it is good to take a shot even if you can't see the lane. And I know that there are some, right, skaters, mostly forwards in the National Hockey League, who kind of are like that. They may not see it entirely, but they somehow feel it. Like there is a hole that I might be, but if not, there's still people. Right? It could. I mean, it could bounce off somebody and not go in, but it could also bounce off somebody and go in. Sometimes it's good just to get a shot off. But I will never, ever, ever, ever be bored. Ever, never be bored when it comes to National Hockey League. I don't care. They can if it's working, you're cycling to death. I mean, that maybe a flexible system. You understand? Okay, right. sort of dynamically maneuvering within a like within a set system. Okay, so maybe if there's an air quote blah 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 system cheater, maybe it's just, hey, we're doing improv today, boys, because sometimes they just fucking see it, man. 5, 6 skate steps ahead. And that's when you're like, all right, well, fuck it. Everybody, come and support. You can't script that. You can't. There's no formula. Some of it's intuitive. Like they can see around dudes sometimes. Like it's hard to explain, but they may not see the hole, but they know it's there. And sometimes they will just pull the trigger, release, even if they're not sure that general area might work. It may bounce off. It may go in just straight out, or it may bounce off something else, including the post, or a defenseman or the goalie, and still go in. Sometimes it's worth just taking that intuitive shot, and you don't want to discourage certain shooters. Sometimes it's okay to play improv. To air quote system cheaters, occasionally, fuck it. Let them do it. Okay, you get used to doing that with each other, right? So there may be a team not expecting, but there's just a few who know how to do that, and like just cycle them to death every so often. I'm not trying to be a coach as much as I'm trying to say understanding as a fan. The best way to enjoy an ice hockey game is to just give your team the benefit of the doubt. Now, if you're giving like with the Washington Capitals, really, I just don't even want to talk about it anymore. Ever. I mean, they could offer me a job for millions of dollars, and I would fucking turn it down. Any other franchise, sure, I would listen. I might be interested, but I mean, they don't even really deserve to be in the league. There's a few thousand, like I said, but Jets fans don't be like that. Okay, it's okay if your team is playing keeper. It's okay if you've got guys who are playing a little more defensively and not blazing through the God, center ice. What the hell? The neutral zone. Okay, because sometimes people like somebody's about ready to switch out, and there's fresh legs coming on the bench, and other team may not be paying too much attention, or that guy coming out of the penalty box. You may be seeing something like, where is he going? Why is he going that way? Because the guy coming out of the penalty box, right, is going to be right there. Like they know it ahead of time. Intuitively, they start knowing things ahead. Like, oh, okay, well, if I scoot around this guy, see, they're all covering them. But if I scoot around this and shoot it up, oh, look, the dude coming out of the penalty box on my team just got the puck. That takes the other team a little by surprise, quite often. Okay? Every single fan, everybody gets paid for it. Everybody should just start absolutely accepting the fact that one team, there isn't just one team playing no one. Every single team factors. Every single team. It is never just one guy. And anybody who tries to do that, right, I don't agree. But people praise that all the time, and I'm like, well, it didn't work no matter what. Right. You don't do that. It's never going to be one guy. It's never just going to be one goalie. A lot of times it seems like it's all goalie or it's all just one guy, but sometimes that one guy is taking on too much. It's just true. Every single NHL team, no matter where they are in the standings, have the potential to beat any other National Hockey League team. As far as I'm concerned, points are points. 2 points in October, 2 points in wherever, you know what I'm saying? But some teams are paying a little more attention to, right, building for playoff steady ready team. Okay. So me, I'm not really gonna fuss. I'm not gonna get bored. Whatever it is they need to do, game by game, shift by shift, right, in the season, even if it means they gotta go improv for a little while. If they're used to playing with each other, probably could probably do that because it takes the other team off guard. So when people start talking about like cheating, I'm like, just what the fuck? Some of these guys, they just see it right steps ahead. Two, they know there's a hole, and somehow they figure out how to through people. Like they can thread the needle right through people. And sometimes they just feel it. They know. It's a little more organic and a little more intuitive than, oh, these are stats and performance metrics and this is our system and don't, cheat on the system. It's like, well, become better at improvisation with each other. Play the game dynamically and flexibly. Like I said, there may be some teams like you might have to play keep away. There might be some teams where it's just like, okay, well, this period we're gonna have to be more patient in the neutral zone. Right? First, if they're going through a period and like, okay, well, we are taking some pretty stupid penalties, right? All right, well, maybe we try not to do that, right? Anybody see like this guy we're passing on the left, but he's got his position, but this guy, right, and these lines, he's not really paying attention as well. Try passing on the right. Try getting if you're on the right. Like they can see and read these things, and then of course coaches and assistant coach, right? They chime in. I don't care how boring, air quote, the Winnipeg Jets are, and neither should any other fan. You shouldn't. You should be happy if they're playing. You should be happy that they're upset. You should be happy that they're paying attention, and you should be happy they're being more patient in certain ends. You understand? And plus, that's frustrating for the other team to start like getting pissy and losing their game. Okay? Point blank. That's hockey. And that part has not changed in a long time. So there's some teams may not be necessarily building for playoffs as much as they are building for the future in October. The Jets are. And your playoff team, well, they have to kind of improv anyway because sometimes guys get hurt in like the middle, or sometimes they get the game this time they're gone. They can't even come back to the game. Okay, yep. All right. So players learning how to read each other is very important. So no matter what's going on around them, they can at the very least they know where their friends are on ice. Right. And some might find sometimes even a goalie is heads up enough to be able to pass. Because sometimes you want to keep that momentum going. Sometimes you don't want that whistle blow. Sometimes you're feeling that push, and okay, well, they're starting to get tired and they're getting confused. What a perfect opportunity, to get that puck to that guy, so he can get into the ozone clean. By clean, I mean not getting, jeez, my brain offsides. I mean, there have been a few goalies who set up some 3-on-1s as a goalie, 3-on-1. I mean, you might as well just put your arms out and just do nothing. Your arms and you might as well just look like a butterfly, because there's just nothing else you can be able to do. You won't be able to respond. Yeah, I mean, once you see the puck, it's too late. Yeah, that's very difficult as a goalie. But yeah, even goalies can keep the puck going. And, they don't need to be like really, really good with the puck. They just need to be good enough to pass. So I disagree with a lot of loud ice hockey spectators. It's exciting when a team scores a goal. It's exciting when your team wins games. And ideally, win game in regulation play. Because then you have fewer chance of injury, right? Everybody gets to go home a little early, that kind of thing. But your team has to have the wherewithal to, build up to the point where they're in the playoffs. They could be playing a 6 or 7 uh, period game, because just nobody's like, the goalies are buckled down. Everybody's like, no, you're not scoring. No, no, no. We're just gonna keep going. Okay, it's happened. I don't understand how they don't just fall out sometimes, right? Like, holy crap, that's like like 6 period game is a regular game, and then another regular game, except it's sudden death. So it's even a little more stressful. It will start slowing down a little. They will start being more careful about penalties. There's things that will happen. Fire wagon hockey has never, ever, not once, ever, never, not once, ever brought home the hardware. So you can be happy there's a little bit of fire wagon hockey. Yay, that was fun. But they gotta do the grind. They gotta do the work. They gotta play smart. They gotta do things that, as a fan, don't worry about why. Okay, you're not the coach. You're not the GM. You are not the people paid. I'm 100% sure that vast majority of the time they know better than you. Okay, you can save yourself a lot of stress. Okay, if you relax a little and trust the franchise. Now, me, I did it with the Washington Capitals for quite some time, until I started finding out some things. At a certain point, there was no way I was going to give them any more of my time and energy. And there's no way I would support that ever. So I walked away, and I was getting tired of the angry Craps fans giving me shit. I'm like, I don't fucking get paid, assholes, okay? Like, you guys aren't looking at the game right? You're pissed off at Ovi, and he's not doing anything wrong. He's still playing his fucking game. Oh, you're pissed off at this goalie. Your team won, and you're still pissed off. Get away from me. forever if possible. Stay a little more settled, Winnipeg Jets fans, okay? Let them organically feel. Let the coaches, let the people who guide them through it. Expect injuries. Expect that because of injuries and maybe what the other team is coming with every game, that coach might seem like they pulled somebody off who you wanted on and they gave somebody more minutes. Trust the team and the coach and the franchise a little more. I understand talking about it. I was doing it this morning live. Um, yeah, Liz and Connor, Winnipeg Sport. Right. Uh, right. I mean, I understand. Yeah, I mean, we can say Stanley, but the reason why I said Stanley is because I think it's just one, injuries, two, who he's been playing with and his ability to sort of catch up. But now he's had time with the franchise and he's had time to get to know some of these people. And if he's paired right, you understand? I think he's learning better how to use the size. And I mean, it can take a little while, people. And if the franchise has a chance to be able to support more development, Stanley, more, I mean, if they can, if they got room, salary cap, if they can find a way to keep Stanley, he's still development slightly. It may not seem that way, but yes, with this franchise. Okay. And plus, he's already been more consistent than that because he had one goal every year. Now he's got two. I know. There's no wonder he was trending up. Okay. I think it's the pairing at this point. And plus, there's some injuries when they come back. Trust me when I tell you, sometimes coach has no choice how he pairs and how he line up. Okay. Sometimes they're playing injured. We don't know. Sometimes, they're just going through some personal shit and they're not really all there. It's just you just never know. And sometimes coaches don't have a choice but to do certain things and to have certain right. And oftentimes, like management GMs, they can't just walk over to somebody else's team and say, I'll trade you this guy for that guy at any point in time. And there are a lot of people who are like, we should get this goalie. I'm like, well, that goalie doesn't even want to come here. Got no trade. You got a solid 10-year or 7 or 5-year contract. Like that's unrealistic. And I'm not talking about the people who play right with fantasy stuff, which I don't really get into. But I'm talking about just trying to be a better informed fan. And if you're not that kind of fan and you don't put all that kind of time in like I have and others, there's other non-paid nerds walking around in the hockeyverse. Don't always just follow the crowd. Just because the crowd is booing an official, sometimes it's like, well, I don't know what you're booing the official for. That was a perfectly good call. I mean, if it's, I've seen some. Yeah, like one guy got fired. I'm glad. Yeah, I mean, I was surprised they didn't just pull him off the ice during that game, but that was his last day with the National Hockey League. Okay, yeah. I mean, there have been some calls where both teams are like, "What?" I mean, if yes, it's our team, and we're looking like, "Geez, well, why are they blowing the whistle?" Well, that guy didn't trip him; he wasn't anywhere near him. But no, shit, we'll take it. We'll take the crappy call because it's in our favor. But just understand, sometimes you see your team doing something that is like, or it's boring, or you want to see more of this player, or you don't think they're doing the right thing down low or whatever. Well, try to have a little more faith and trust in your franchise. Unfortunately, that franchise that I call the National Hockey League Social Club, formerly known as the Washington Capitals, I don't even want to give them time or energy, which is why I just don't talk with them. They could offer me millions of dollars to work for them, and I would turn them down no matter what. They could offer me billions, and I would still turn them down. Sadly, and then lost my trust altogether. And unfortunately, it was just a small group of individuals, but what they did, they can't fucking make it back up to the league. They can't really play that season. They can't. And the only thing that could possibly be done about it is to find them to the point where they're bankrupt. And then there's another franchise. There's a few in the know hockey people. We don't talk about it. And I don't want to talk about that anymore. So I'm hoping that this one did not. I turned off my internet to other like internet that I had my internet connected to do this to see. I haven't gotten any. Sometimes it has a warning like your connection's unstable. So I'm hoping it's not choppy. But I'm hoping that some people actually see this and they hear and they listen and they let what I'm saying soak in a little. It may not be what former retired players are saying. They're former retired players. It may not be what some people who get paid are saying. But I'm speaking hockey truths from a lot of different perspectives. And fans learn to have a little longer patience. Okay, don't be like those people. Okay, people, don't be like that. Don't worry about if you're seeing some boring play, because sometimes that's exactly what the fuck they should be doing. Okay, trust that the coach knows that. Trust that they kind of like do talk to each other, and sometimes they adjust their trust that even if you're not seeing it or understanding, even if they're not like winning games, sometimes it's because the other team just fucking felt like winning. And your team ran out of time to score another 2 goals. Sometimes it's exactly like that. All right. It's better to be a more patient ice hockey fan because that's 82 freaking games that they gotta some of them they gotta sludge through. It becomes a grind. It gets difficult. I don't understand when they get jet lag, and I'm not even sure how they must have people telling them what day it is. Like what day is it? What time is it? They gotta go through time zones. Learn to trust your franchise for a longer period of time until you just can't. Okay, that's how I am as a fan. And I refuse to talk about that one National Hockey League team anymore. They lost my trust. I the only way that they could make it up to the rest of the National Hockey League would be if they were fined into bankruptcy. And quite frankly, part of me really didn't want that to happen. But on the other hand, losing an entire franchise is a pretty big deal when it comes to the National Hockey League. And I know that certain individuals were handled in a certain way. But I'm a Winnipeg Jets fan now, and I pretty much any opportunity that I can get, okay, I have serious medical conditions, okay? So I can't go see games. It's cost me a lot of money. Okay, in the US, insurance doesn't cover everything. once I was my own source of income. And I did have, what people call FU money or whatever. I had a full year salary put aside. Because of emergencies and other stuff, that it went much faster than a year. So there are some rude, ignorant shitbirds who have been contacting me on X and then trying to IE. Just leave me the fuck alone. Just leave me the fuck alone. It's ice hockey season. I understand this game a shitload better than some others, and I'm not trying to hold that over anybody's head. It's just a fucking fact. So, right, go Jets. Jets fans, I know. I get it. But learn to trust the intuition of the players, and it's worth the trust. It's worth trying to be a little more patient because there's stuff that we don't know. Okay, so far there'd be no reason to really distrust some of this. Okay, and don't just repeat what you heard someone else say. Like, start to get to know the game so you can make up your own mind. Like, I know the game well enough. When I'm sitting there watching a game, right, and I mean, I know what I'm looking at. A sloppy bench, people confused, and yeah, see what I'm saying? When they're not communicating, when nobody's communicating, when the other team is like, right, when the other team is a factor, you'll start to understand that. Like, this other team is, pushing. This other team built the wall and is moving the wall forward. Well, that's the other thing. Maybe it's not just the goalie who's a wall. Maybe the players know how to make a wall too. Okay? Some of them are just intuitive, highly practiced, highly skilled goal scorers where, oh, fuck the system. I'm going over here. Everybody else just I got a shot. It could rebound. So another like, oh well, I guess we're doing this. There should be situations where the players are the ones doing it, and those who are just highly intuitive, skilled, like it's like by nature they may not even see the hole, but somehow it goes in. Okay, systems are great, but there should be permittable fuck the system moments for certain kinds of skaters. Sometimes even the goalies. So I won't be talking about a lot of stuff. Okay, and I am going to change my information, my description, but I'm this kind of thing, and I'm understanding that we can all, on the outside spectators, say, this one, like, don't get rid of this one, but it could be that that person asked. It could be that that person, right, has like a list and blah blah. Blah. It could be that they know they're gonna put aside like this much amount of money for somebody who is going to resign their work, and you understand, and so they can't. Okay, they know what their cap limits are. They have much better understanding of all these private conversations. So we get all we want, okay, but a lot of times that's definitely not really how things are happening. And that was the one thing Paul Maurice did really well. Paul Maurice, when he did press, and he got better at it as time went by with Winnipeg, he would say, I get what you guys are thinking, and I know where you're coming from, but that's not really how it works. like he would know what people are thinking. He'd be like understanding what the questions are, why. It's sort of like, okay, well, I understand where you're coming from. It's just that that's not how it works. And so he would try and give you a more realistic viewpoint of things that we see on ice. So if boring ice hockey is what the Jets have to do sometimes, okay, just roll with it. It's an ice hockey game. I mean, there's always something exciting about an ice hockey game. If they got to play keep away, you have to understand they know better than anybody sitting outside, including some of the announcers and analysts. They know better. They understand what they're doing. They start reading teams. They start reading each other. Ice hockey teams do have to play some boring ice hockey. Sometimes, they're not rushing a lot into the ozone. They're being more patient in the neutral zone. There are reasons for that. And it may seem boring and it may seem like, what is this? This is crappy. Why are they doing this? Well, because they know how to play the game and they're paid professionals.